Good morning. I am Dr. Jagannath Malik from State Bank Institute of Leadership, State Bank of India. First of all, I am very thankful to the organizer for giving me this opportunity to present my research output in this important platform. As you see, my paper is on impact of global value chains on productive growth in the Asian economy. And this is the scheme of presentation, the brief objectives, patterns of global value chains, methods and data, empirical results, and conclusions. We know that there are various phases of globalization, particularly in the recent phase, that the third phases of globalization that deals with the production segmentation, where various stages of tasks relating to production process are carried out in different forms in various locations, which forms a GBC. Further, the digital connectedness in recent years that has led to both the formation of international networks and the rapid transmission of knowledge, which can promote GBC participations. In this context, it is policy imperative to understand the impact of the GBC participation on productivity to comprehend the rise of protectionist sentiment across the countries. There are various limitations in the existing studies, and particularly the Asian economy, that is the main driver of global economic growth, which income share has been increasing in the global income. In this context, we examine trends and patterns of GVC participation and its impact on productive growth and income distribution in Asia in 2016. This is the patterns of overall GVC participation of Asian countries during the period from 1996 to 2016. And when we say GBCs has got two types, forward GBCs and backward GBCs. When it is overall GBC, that means this includes both. For this study, we have considered 14 Asian countries, which are chosen based on the available data, particularly on GBC's data, particularly from TIVA of OECD. And based on the World Bank, these 14 Asian countries are in the category of high income countries, upper middle income countries, as well as lower middle income countries. As you see, there is an increasing trend in GBCs in the majority of the countries. This is mainly through the greater trade and investment linkages that has been driven by market-led integration and international commitments. And as you see, small countries like Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam are significantly GBCs. With regards to high-income countries, Taiwan has highest degree of GVC participation, and the overall participation in GVCs has increased for all selected Asian countries except Cambodia and Hong Kong. The trade of Cambodia and Hong Kong has grown significantly. This may indicate that they have upgraded into activities of higher domestic value, and GVC participation of Singapore and Korea and Philippines and China also grown substantially, but the trade growth has been slower or negative. Well, this is about the trend of forward GVCs. And this is in terms of percentage that in forward GVC in the overall GVCs. As you see, for the middle income countries, Malaysia, Philippines, and Indonesia have significant participation in forward GVCs, where Malaysia it is 82% of forward GVC, which of the overall GVCs. China, India, Cambodia, and Vietnam have recorded decline in the forward GVCs share in overall GVCs. And out of the high income countries, Singapore, Korea, and Brunei have significant forward GVC share also. Taiwan. Well, as regards to the patterns at the sectoral level, so here we have just shown for China and India and Japan and Korea. In China, the manufacturing sector is dominating, whereas in India also the manufacturing sector is dominating in terms of backward value chains. and the manufacturing sector is followed by utilities, mining, quarrying, and business services, and other sectors in China. Similarly, in India, this is manufacturing, utilities, mining, quarrying, business services, and then the rest of the sectors. And in Japan, this is utilities, which has been dominating. In case of Korea, initially it was manufacturing, then comes utilities, then it is manufacturing. But one common feature is that the GVCs, that backward GVCs has been declining in the all sectors in this countries. Well, what are the reasons? The reason that could be the global economic crisis 2012. That is, and also it is partly due to rising labor cost in emerging economies and the onshoring of multinational activities, as per the Gunilla et al. 2017. Besides the use of protectionist non-tariff barriers such as local content requirements and the introduction of other regulations that increase trade cost. Other reasons could be a shift in global demand towards services which are less trade intensive in nature than the goods, and the introduction of robotization encourages innovated localization of production in the countries. Well, this is about the methods and data. As you know that there is similitude between total factor product growth as well as GVCs, and also GVCs affect labor share by affecting level of employment and wages. Hence, we have used a simultaneous equation framework. So these are the three equations which are estimated in paper. But little background to this empirical equation, that is productive growth is determined driven by GVCs, global value chains, labor share, and other factors like real income growth, human capital, and number of patents for innovations and communication infrastructures. Whereas GVC is also determined by inflow of FDI along with productive growth, real income growth, governance, communication infrastructure, and human capital. And labor share is expected to be affected by GVCs, and also it is expected to be determined by FDI, labor productive growth, structural change, capital intensity, human capital, and government consumption expenditure that affects the salary of employees in country. Well, that the data mainly taken from TIVA of OECD, then World Bank, Asian Productivity Organization from the year from 1996 to 2016, and that infrastructure variable, that is the composite variable, which includes these four component, and we used principal common approach to generate one series. So I let me skip it. This is the empirical results. Well, so empirical results. This is being estimated by three SLS approach, that three stage least square approach. So about TPG equations. So GBCs affect the productive growth, that is positive and significantly, and then the control variables like patent is for the innovations, that is also significant, income growth is significant, human capital is significant, infrastructure that is not significant, and this needs further investigation and research why it is not significant, because it could be due to measurement issues or could be some other reasons. Well, about Gibbs equations here, and it is determined by FDI, lag of FDI. Here we have used the one lag year of FDI to to just encounter to the similarity between the GVCs and FDI, and to take control of that. Then also real income growth and governance, infrastructure, and human capital. These are also significant in driving GVCs of a country in the Asian economy. Well, then about lower share. Lower share is determined by the FDI, lag of FDI, then GVCs that has negative impact, and then lower product growth, structural change, and capital intensity, government final consumption expenditure, and human capital. Why GVC is affected negatively? Because though it drives employment and wage, at the same time it may drive the capital, domestic capital in an economy. So when the domestic capital rises, that capital due to, then as we see that capital intensity has a negative effect. Hence, that could be on the on that the net effect of GBCs could be negative. So these are the results. There are various studies. They also show that imported inputs create significant productivity effects through innovation, learning, and wider variety of quality aspects, and also enabling the farms to export. And there is the study also showed that increased foreign content of exports generates productivity gains of the exporting farms, and GVC participation reduces productivity gap between foreign and domestic farms in selected cases in the nine new EU member states, and this is under the condition that competitiveness would increase only when improvement in productivity is faster than the change in and the labor force, that is the educated labor force, that has the required knowledge and skills to improve productivity in the production process, as um, it is revealed from our empirical result that human capital is significant in driving productive growth, and also the GBCs and also labor share. Here we say labor share means labor income share, and the educated labor force is capable to adapt to new processes and industries more quickly, allowing them to improve productivity. That means the educated labor facilitates the acceleration of the innovation activities and the transfer of technology. The studies also in the context of India established that a higher educational level affects productive growth more strongly than the low level of in the GBC equations. Now we have found that it's the important finding that quality of governance that has been found poised to and statistically significant because the poor governance of a country leads to misallocation of resources, which negatively affects competitiveness. This also hinders the effort to improve infrastructure, investment, and education standards, and the quality of governance is crucial. That means the quality of governance is crucial to integrate with the global economy performed by promoting GBC participation and hence effectiveness. Well, in the labor share equations, that is the control variables along with GBCs are FDI, helping labor productive growth, capital intensity, and other variables. And there is a positive effect of FDI, but a negative effect of GBC and capital intensity. And the studies used openness and offshoring to establish the positive effect of global economic integration on the wage rate for the capital income growth, which is higher than the wage rate growth. That is the why global economic integration or the GBC the affect negatively to labor share, the labor income share. The study also showed that both high and low skilled laborers see an increased compensation rate when there is an increase in backward activities of the sector where they work in France. And the other study that they established that in the EU that the GBC has a significant effect on the wage rate of both high and low skilled laborers, while it favors high skilled labor to the low skilled mainly due to the increased usage of imported inputs, which is associated with offshoring and skill based technology. Well, if we exclude the high income countries, the results more and less remain same with regards to the impact of GBCs on productive growth and on the lower income share. Well, what are the reasons? The reason that could be the global economic crisis 2012. That is, and also it is partly due to rising labor cost in emerging economies and the onshoring of multinational activities, as per the Gunilla et al. 2017. Besides the use of protectionist non-tariff barriers such as local content requirements and the introduction of other regulations that increase trade cost. Other reasons could be to conclude my paper, there is a rapid expansion of GBCs in the last few decades in Asian countries. The small open economies like Vietnam and Thailand are being more involved in GBC participation. The overall participation in GBCs has increased for all sectors in the Asian countries except Cambodia and Hong Kong. This presents a significant different picture from their trade performance And conversely, GCC participation of Singapore, Korea, and Philippines and China also have grown substantially. However, their trade growth has been slow and negative. And Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia have significant participation in forward GCC, whereas China, India, Cambodia, and Vietnam have recorded a decline in the forward GCC share. In overall GCCs, where Singapore, Korea, and Brunei from the high-income countries has have significant foreign GCC share, and also Taiwan share is also significant in the overall GCCs. And finally, the April results point to the dominant role of GCCs in driving productive growth and also labor market in the Asian countries and also the Middle East countries. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.